Hi, this is Dee with Critical Break, and I thought we could discuss some things today dealing with our genetics. Um, it is Saturday. I hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic weekend. And yeah, a few things to cover today. Shouldn't be terribly long, I hope. I'm going to try to keep it short. But I wanted to discuss what happens when we have liver toxicity due to ingestion of folic acid. Because what happens is we don't methylate properly. And because of that, um, we get toxic buildup in our systems that our liver can't get rid of fast enough. And so there's some things that need to be done, but we'll go over this step by step. And I did this video specifically for someone in particular. I don't have a lot of time to spend on these things because there's a lot of other things that are far more important right now. But this came up and I decided to address it today. And so anyway, I am not using the OBS software. I've tried using it a couple of times. The last time the video was laggy, and due to that lag, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, I'm gonna check the chat, see how everybody's doing. Hey, Sir Tony, it's good to see you. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It's bright and sunny and gorgeous here. Really pretty. So anyway, I'm going to get started. I'm going to do a share screen. After I do share screen, sometimes the video lags afterwards. Remember, my upload speed, it ranges between 1.1 and 1.3 megabytes upload speed. So it causes video lag and other things. So when I use the OBS software, that creates even more problems. So I'm not using that today. But anyway, we'll get into our genetics. And this is for the C677T people and the A1298C people. And I hope it's helpful because, I mean, we've discussed this so many times about our genetics and what we need to do to keep us functioning at the highest level that we possibly can, considering the damage that was done before we discovered what was causing all the autoimmune disorders to cascade out of control. So anyway, so we'll get to it. I'm going to go into share screen. So here we go, off to the races and show and tell time. All right. The our genetics. And I left links for all this down in the description. So after the stream, if you want to research this a little bit further, it's there for you. Anyway, the MTHFR is an acronym for a particular enzyme. And it's often referred to as the detox gene. The actual scope of this enzyme is much wider than the term detox gene would suggest. This enzyme is responsible for breaking down folic acid into a usable form called 5L-methylhydrofolate and is coded primarily in two genes, okay, which is, of course, the C677T and the A1298C. When this enzyme cannot be produced or is diminished because of this mutation or a partial mutation, then lots of important downstream physiology is disrupted. One impact is hindering methylation in the body. Methylation is required for health in every cell of your body and occurs billions of times per second. Areas negatively impacted, including DNA repair, immune function, detoxification, neurotransmitter production, hormone regulation, mood balancing, and energy production, and much more. So if you carry that genetic code, let's put it this way. I'm 100% certain that the heart-based souls on this planet carry these two codes right here. You'll either have a single copy of one or the other. You could have a single copy of both. You could have a double copy of one or both. So, yeah, this is very key to understanding what's going on here on the planet and why we are seemingly under attack, basically, by the virus, aka what I call evil. But anyway, examples of critical methylation in the body: neurotransmitter breakdown that deals with your epinephrine and melatonin, hormones like testosterone and estrogen, and toxin removal. More specifically, these two genes, when mutated, are associated with the following. The C677T, this is my personal one that I have trouble with. This mutation is most commonly associated with heart disease, heart attack, stroke, blood clots, peripheral neuropathy, anemia, miscarriages, congenital birth defects, and more. Then there's the A1298C. This mutation is most commonly associated with chronic illness such as depression, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, migraines, irritable bowel syndrome, memory loss, Alzheimer's, and dementia, obsessive compulsive disorder, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia, and more. Please note that all of these symptoms can also happen in the A1298C, and all of these symptoms can also happen in the C677T. It's just more frequent that these will happen up here with the C677T, and these are more frequent with the A1298C. But these symptoms are all interchangeable between these two. Depending on how many of the 4 locations are mutated will determine methylation reduction from 25% to 80% and beyond. There are many health consequences of MTHFR that, when not addressed through diet and supplements, interfere with methylate and contribute to serious diseases. As noted previously, there are a number of genes that code for MTHFR, the genetic code that produces the enzyme impacting methylation efficiency. Sensitivity to medications, high homocysteine levels, low tolerance for alcohol, and pain are some of the symptoms of the gene's effects on health. More severe symptoms can be broken down into 3 categories: physiological, autoimmune, toxic, and cardiovascular. Physiological, or actually this one's psychological, sorry. addictive behavior, alcoholism, insomnia, dementia, Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, anxiety, autism, and spectral disorders, so spectrum disorders, adult neurological conditions, mood and psychiatric disorders, behavioral disorders, bipolar disorder, depression, autoimmune toxicity, diabetes, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, cancer, autism. 98% of autistic children have C677T and A1298C anomalies. Kids with autism are often low in homocysteine and glutathione. 5, Down's syndrome. Allergies or multiple chemical sensitivities. Spina bifida, cleft palate, neural tube defects, multiple sclerosis, Hashimoto's, or hypothyroidism. One's hyper and one's hypo, basically. Hashimoto's is hyper. ADD or ADHD, Lyme's disease. We've been talking about that. Lyme's disease is very connected to all this, along with a whole lot of other things they've been throwing at our genetics, trying to keep us from being able to fight them, basically, and keeping us asleep because we're so sick that we can't fight. Chronic viral infections, low T cells or reduced NK cells, miscarriages, infertility, and problems during pregnancy, allergies, immune system and digestive problems, problems with aging, asthma, chemical sensitivities. Now, there's a whole list of other things that come into play here with the allergies part and the sensitivities to medications and things like that. You can literally be allergic to the planet like I am. And I'm not kidding. I'm really down to just a couple of things that I can actually eat anymore. And I'm allergic to everything outside, and that's no joke, including the sun. Chemical sensitivities and things like that. Just somebody's perfume can be an issue. Scents, humidity, heat, cold, intolerance. They're all part of this. And then with the cardiovascular system, which I have a huge problem with because I have atherosclerosis, pulmonary embolisms, neuropathy, that's where you lose feeling in your extremities, depleted CoQ10, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, neuropathy. Methylation is important to nerves, your myelin sheath, so that's why multiple sclerosis. This also, in the autoimmune toxicity, that list, if you look at every autoimmune disease there is out there, they're all connected to this, all of them, including cancer and diabetes. Those are autoimmune disorders. All this stuff. And like I said, every possible autoimmune disorder is so connected to this because it starts with your body becoming toxic. And then when that happens, you're not methylating properly. You're not getting nutrients. You could eat the planet every day and not ever get enough nutrients into your system. You're basically starving to death. Your body is starving to death, literally, because you're not processing vitamins and minerals and things like that that your cells need to replicate properly and everything else. So, but yeah, it's a huge problem. Now we're going to go into the things that you can do that can help your body quit being so toxic so that you at least get some of your nutrients, and it'll help subside many of these symptoms. Um, it helps reduce pain levels. Um, a lot of people experience when they become toxic, they'll get very erratic behavior, become paranoid. When you see all the psychological things that can happen, they just go off the chain, and it derails them completely. And me and my friends that know all about this, that have been doing the work when it comes to genetics and trying to figure out what's going on here, why, because we have family members that carry this exact same genetics, and every once in a while you'll have a family member that just goes completely berserk, and you're trying to figure out, why are they all, this normal person suddenly raging out of control, or suddenly gets super paranoid, and you just we've seen it over and over and over again. And there's a link to Christian Truth's channel. She talks about this. She talks about her family and how they would act really weird suddenly, and then all of a sudden they would be fine again, and don't even seem to realize how erratically they were actually acting because they're unaware of it when they're doing it. So, and my heart goes out to them, because we know how this is. It's very difficult to live with. Managing mine, because I'm I'm not so affected by this. The big thing I have is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm a germaphobe. I wash my hands too much. And I like to organize my clothes and my things in color coordinated, like all my red things are hanging together. All my, it's ridiculous. But and I get anxiety some, like I have some today, obviously. But me, mostly what I suffer from is the um the autoimmune and cardiovascular issues. That's what really hurts me the most, and what I seem to have the most symptoms in. But when you become toxic and you don't take care of that toxicity, and your liver goes on overload, all this cascade of this craziness just gets worse and worse if you don't manage it. So there's several things you can do to detox. And one of those things is Epsom salt or baking soda or both, a bath, soaking. When you do this, you're only supposed to do it a couple times a week at the most. I do it once a week, or try to get it in once a week. Lately, it's not been, I haven't been able to get in there and get it's been a couple of weeks for me. But in getting this done helps your skin, because when your liver becomes overloaded, your system starts building up toxins, and it literally comes to the surface of your skin. And you will have rashes of all varying different types, eczema, all kinds of things start going out through the skin. And this will help your skin. It helps with itching and irritation and infections. But what I do with the baking soda bath, and there's a link down there if you want to look at this article about it. I put about a quarter cup of baking soda, sometimes a little more, in a nice warm bath. And I'll soak for 10 minutes on one side, then flip, soak 10 minutes on the other. Then I drain the tub, stand up, and scrub down really good, because what happens is the Epsom salt and baking soda will bring those toxins to the surface of your skin, and you want to make sure you scrub that off your skin, or it'll actually make your rashes worse. So you stand up in the shower, scrub down good, and rinse real good. Soap up, and make sure you get every inch of your body and get all that off of you. Okay, because it brings the toxins to the surface. Some people will just do a foot soak, and it's the same thing with the foot soak. After you get done doing the foot soak, make sure you scrub your feet really good, and soap them down and scrub them off with like a wash rag or a loofah or something like that. And then pat them dry, because you want to get those toxins off the surface of the skin, because it'll draw toxins right up through the pores. Okay. Other things that happen is you'll become not only toxic in different vitamins and things like that, because some vitamins won't get through into the cells where they belong, so they overload into the liver. And so getting the liver functioning right so it can rid your body of as much of the excess as possible is really important. But and heavy metals will build up in us as well because of past insults from vaccinations. There's arsenic in much of the groundwater, and other heavy metals. Your Mercury from vaccinations. It's just, yeah, it's a problem, and we need to get our bodies cleansed of this stuff. And plus the overload of vitamins, because like me, for instance, I don't process B6 correctly, and I become toxic in B6 very easily. And so I have to stay away from it. But you're bound to get some, so you have to get rid of it somehow. And if you're not methylating properly, you're not getting rid of it. So anyway, there's a lot of different, there's arsenic, mercury, cadmium, and lead. They're all things that you really want to try to get out of your body. There's other things that can become a toxic excess, like iron, zinc, copper, magnesium, chromium, and manganese. Those also can become toxic to you if they build up in your body. So, the link is down there for this too, and there's symptoms for in here for heavy metal intoxication. So the link is down there, but it causes a lot of weird things to go wrong too. But this is just in addition to our genetics causing all those other things to go wrong, because we're not methylating properly and we're not detoxing properly because our system doesn't methylate properly. So there's different, this just talks about the different things like mercury, what it can cause. And you notice that a lot of the things listed down here are also symptoms of our genetics and becoming toxic. So, yeah. So helping our liver process and detoxing our bodies is paramount to trying to stay healthy, both psychologically and physically. So anyway, this talks about all the different ones and what they cause, cadmium toxicity and all that. But it talks about the different ways you can test for it. But there's no point in doing that, because you still have to go and detox. Because of those genetics, you still have to detox your liver. So in doing that, you're going to help yourself get rid of these heavy metals as well. So it's kind of a twofold thing. You're helping yourself in two ways. You're getting rid of heavy metals that could possibly be in you, and you're also helping get rid of the excessive, like me with B6. You know, all the excess B6 needs to get out of me, or it makes me very sick. So, and there's a lot of other things, but that's just an example. But these are things that you can do that help with getting your liver to process out some of this stuff that's so toxic inside your body. And there's many different things, like DMSA is one of them that's used for detoxing. I don't recommend, you know, this isn't medical advice, this is experience advice. I do not recommend a real heavy detox because a lot of people can become violently ill, especially if they've got a really heavy overload in their system. Their liver will literally shut down because it can't handle it. So a slow, easy, gentle detox is the best way to go. There's things that you can use, that you can buy over the counter, that will help you detox. And like I said, and it's just like with our supplements and everything else, you have to pulse them. You don't want to take the same thing every day, day in, day out, because you'll develop an overload of that particular thing. So pulsing your supplements is really important. That's something I learned from Christian Truth. The but there's that support of your glands, particularly the liver, is really important. And glutathione is one thing that can help you detox. And it talks about that here. Alpha-Lipoic acid is another one. That one is a really good one. This one helps get rid of arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. And if you pulse this, say, take a little bit, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, you're golden. It will help so much. And you won't be over taxing your liver trying to get rid of all the excess. You don't want to take, you know, like I said, some people will go for these big giant detox things, and with our systems being in such a state as they are, it's not wise to put your liver through that extra work, because it's really not up for it, because our organs are all damaged from all the different insults and that toxicity. So it's not going to be functioning optimally. And so you want to do this detox slowly. Anyway, it talks about that. It talks about modified citrus pectin is good for cadmium, lead, and arsenic. So really, if you can get a product that has alpha-lipoic acid and modified citrus pectin both in it, you're going to be so in good shape, because it takes care of all of those. Saunas are good if you can tolerate the heat. Like some of us have heat intolerance. I do. But the ones that can handle the saunas and stuff like that, that's a good way to help. But again, just like the baking soda detox, you know, the baking soda or Epsom salt, you want to make sure and wash your skin thoroughly after you do a sauna. Same thing, okay? Vitamin C, but I do stress it has to be a high quality vitamin C. There's some real good food-based vitamin C's out there. The standard cheapy chewable vitamin C's that you get over the counter generally don't work. A lot of people use ester C, and that one's good. But or like I said, the food-based type. Selenium, that's really good for you too, because that helps your liver by leaps and bounds. So if you get one that has selenium, the modified citrus pectin, and the alpha-lipoic acid, those three in particular, yeah. And acetylcysteine reduces mercury and lead. Zinc prevents cadmium and lead absorption and increases cadmium excretion. But all the links are in the description for these so that you can look them over. But this is another article about troubleshooting the liver and methylation and why it's so difficult for us. Talks about what happens. You would think that anyone with deficiencies in methylfolate, which is MB12, and choline, would feel great as soon as we supplement with those nutrients, but many of us feel terrible instead. So the easiest, most logical thing to do is to think that we are allergic to the very things we need to heal. And that's true. I think there are two reasons why we have bad reactions to supplements, to the supplements we need. First, if our liver is overloaded with toxins and choke up with toxic liver stones, any increase in function is going to release toxic garbage into our intestines through the increased bile flow. Some of those toxins are unavoidably absorbed back into the bloodstream, sickening us. Second, our bodies are like old, rusty, unmaintained cars that will run okay on back roads, but would shake apart on the freeway. You don't drive a car like that, 70 miles an hour, without expecting trouble. There are hundreds of systems in our bodies that need to be slowly brought back to life in concert. Pushing one system can overload the rest. That's why I was saying those really heavy detox routines and things like that, really bad idea with our genetics, that you could make your liver shut down. It could be life-threatening. So you have to go about this and be smart about it. But it will help alleviate all those symptoms you're having. And it's just like what Christian Truth was saying. You know, sometimes they're not even aware that they're starting to act funny or paranoid or erratic behavior, family members and stuff. They're not even aware they're doing it, but they're doing it. And yeah, it's very difficult to deal with when you have someone that is kind of losing their mind in a sense, and they're not even aware they're doing it. So we have to have compassion and love for them, because we have to understand that they're not doing it on purpose. And here's many of I just pulled this up for an example of different products that you can get that can help your liver so that you can, detox and get that stuff out of your system. Besides doing the sauna or the baking soda, Epsom salt thing, you want to do this as well. There's a lot of good products. Milk thistle is really great for your liver. Super good for it. And it doesn't have to be any particular brand. I just recommend getting as you know, the highest quality you can get your hands on. Look at reviews when you're buying. Are they veggie caps? Are they organic, etc.? You know, those things are important, because, you know, supplements really, you know, widely vary as far as how effective they are. So you definitely want to try to stick with something that has some quality to it. See, this one, this is just straight alpha-lipoic acid. We talked about that. But some of them, there's some that have, like Jarrow has one that's called liver or something. I can't remember exactly. But there's several brands that specifically geared to the liver, and they will have those components I was just talking about. The alpha-lipoic acid, the pectin, and the selenium. So those are the three main things you really want to make sure. And milk thistle, okay, is really good too. Like, if you can get a product that has all four of those in it, that's perfect. That's what you want. But there's a lot of companies that have come up with formulas that are for the liver, and let's see, liver support, etc. So I would check into that. I personally use two different ones because one had some of what I needed and the other one had some of what I needed. So I ended up going with two different ones. But these are critical to help you feel better. And see, this is Now Foods. That's their, I can't blow that up to look at it. Now Foods is a good brand. Jarrow is really good. See, here's Now. That's what it looks like. I don't see Jarrow on here, but yeah, there's a lot of companies that have some really good combinations going here for liver detox and support. So, see, here's one that's an organ complex in general, but it wouldn't hurt to also get something to help with your adrenal glands, like an adrenal support combination, and thyroid, and even pituitary, because all of our glands are not functioning 100% optimally because of all the damage that got done. So it's really important. So anyway, go back out of share screen. Does anybody have questions about the liver toxicity or any of that? Hello, Miss Monica. It's great to see you. I'm going to read through the chat real quick. Yeah, a lot of females have that irritable bowel syndrome. A lot. Oh, you're feeling emotional and unbalanced. Yeah. I don't think getting back on meds, you may try this detox thing first and see if that helps you feel more balanced. Yeah, that's what I would try. And then if that's not enough, you know, you may consider it. There's natural or alternatives to the pharmaceuticals. And see, the problem with those of us with these genetics, the C677T and the A1298C, Many of us do our norepinephrine, dopamine, and all that. We don't process it right. So if you take the drugs that affect those things, it could be disastrous for us. So those drugs generally are not wise. You're better off just getting rid of the overload on your liver and detoxing, and try to use natural things. Getting that report, doing your DNA thing and getting that report that tells you where you're not methylating properly is really helpful. It'll keep you, help you avoid buying things that are unnecessary or don't work for you. So that's always important. But yeah, definitely pulse. Even this liver detox thing, I wouldn't go at it every day. I would do, take that like 3 or 4 times a week, every other day kind of thing, maybe. Because even the stuff in there, you could end up having a buildup of. So you just, yeah, it's tricky. Managing our genetics can be a 24/7, depending on how much damage has been done, can be a 24/7 job. And I'm not kidding. Yeah, yeah. I've, um, I every once in a while, I used to have to take them like once week, every 2 weeks, a Xanax or something, just to get my body, because I would feel like I was just spinning my wheels. And now I rarely have to do that. Recently, I actually took one this morning, but my anxiety level was kind of up there. So let's see. Yeah, hives. If you get hives, it's because you're having a sensitivity to something that you're eating or you're having contact with somehow. People can go out in the sun and break out in hives and get, big whelps all over them. It's You just have to eliminate things and try to figure out what's causing it. Generally, if you think back to what you did or what you were exposed to right before the hive showed up, because it's usually a pretty fast response. Your immune system responds pretty quick. So whatever it was right before the hive showed up, within probably an hour or less usually. Um, oh, you guys are so sweet. Okay. So I wanted to address something else because it's directly related to this liver toxicity and um, paranoid and erratic behavior. Um, I know my last video was evidently a problem for someone, and I think they're experiencing liver toxicity. And I've given advice about pulsing supplements and things like that. But if someone doesn't listen to me, there's nothing I can do about that. My last video, because there was a string of videos done critiquing me in my last video. And since it was done in video form, I'm responding in video form. Like I always told all of you, any question is not off limits with me. And I mean that. I've always been 100% transparent, 100% honest. And I've shared this journey that I've been going on, the ups and downs, the whole thing. And so, you know, when someone brings questions up or concerns, I'm going to address it. So I'm going to address it. The thing with my last stream is I was using OBS software. It's an additional piece of software. Well, you saw that I tried to use another one called Relive or something like that. That was an absolute disaster. OBS works pretty good, but my upload speed is so horrendous that it causes some problems. Plus, I had a lot of web pages pulled up at the time and programs running in the background. So that will slow things up and make things act weird. So my video was jerky. It would go for a few seconds, stop, go for a few seconds, stop. The whole thing did that. Anyway, yeah, that I was like, oh, come on. Anyway, so some things were brought up. One thing that was brought up was evidently some sort of hand signal. You guys can watch my videos. I do this all the time, pushing my hair back, sometimes both sides. Evidently, that's a hand signal. Trust me, pushing my hair back out of my face is not a hand signal. Also, there was some comment made about one shoulder looked this nice clean line and another shoulder didn't. If you bother examining the video, my hair was sitting on my shoulder. It was, see if I can get it to sit there exactly the same way it did that day. Something like that, but a little less hair was there. Anyway, so one side looked kind of fuzzy. The other side didn't because the hair wasn't on the shoulder. Not only that, but I had my webcam over here on this side of the monitor. So it was more focused on this side of me instead of this side. It's mechanics. It's part of webcams and cameras. I have a lot of experience with webcams and cameras, and no, I'm not making hand signs. Anyway, just trying to explain what happened during that video. Yeah. So when I push my hair back like this, somebody referenced some sort of hand sign. I don't know if somebody holding their hand up like this or something like this is some sort of hand sign, evidently. If everybody's paranoid to put their hands up anywhere near their faces, I'm very expressive when I talk. I use my hands a great deal. When I think, sometimes I'll do this, sometimes I'll do this, but it's because I'm in thought at the time. It's not deception. I read people. I know exactly what deception looks like. And if you bother taking a body language course, you would know what these actually were. I'm not doing hand signals. I'm definitely very disappointed. I can tell you that much. I'm really disappointed. That particular string of videos basically is trying to point out that I'm a reptilian or some BS. Listen, I've been very clear, very upfront, 100% honest on this journey I've been on. I'm working for Team Good Guys. Always have. Unfairness. I'm a very fair is fair and fair is square kind of person. I like to try to keep this channel as upbeat and as positive as possible, because the craziness going on in this world around us is just really hard to take for all of us. So I'm not going to fear putting my hands up in the air to be expressive when I speak. If that's a problem for you, you'll just have to get by that, because I'm not changing who I am for anybody. Ever. That's not happening. So, welcome back, Miss Monica. I wrote some things down. So I'm going to talk about this very quickly. Everything I've done on this stream, everything, has been about helping those that are like me, those that are like us. If I'm evil, then why do I have the pentacles in my hand, the M's in my hand? And no, my eyes are not reptilian. Take a close look. Freeze frame. Check them out. Get yourself detoxed and get your head back in the game, or get out of the game. We don't have time for this. This time right now is crucial for all of us. I don't have time for this. It's nonsense. Sorry, it's just the way it is. I'm going to finish speaking about this. I don't get angry like this unless I'm hurt and I'm deeply wounded by those videos. That was uncalled for. And when this is all said and done, it will make somebody look very foolish, and it isn't going to be me. Now I'm going to finish saying what I have to say about that. I offered advice to this person multiple times on detoxing and how to handle their genetics. Erratic behavior has been noted before. This is not the first time. You can't be any good to us if you can't function. If you continue to ingest folic acid, and you continue getting those insults into your system and you're not detoxing, you're not going to be any good to us. Turning on those that are working on the same team for the same reasons is extremely unproductive. It is a waste of your time. It is a huge waste of mine. I've got much more important things to take care of. A lot's writing on this, and this is ridiculous. I'm disappointed, I'm hurt, I'm angry, but those feelings are based out of love and trust. Because when you really care about somebody and you really trust them, then something like that sends you reeling. I'm trying to keep love and compassion in my heart for this behavior because I understand it. But it's difficult, especially right now, because this time right now is really crucial to the planet. Think about this. I wouldn't be pointing out what the virus has done to all of us genetically. I wouldn't be trying to help those if I were a reptilian. Come on, seriously, get a grip. I knew something like this would come up when, like I said, just doing these videos, I really didn't want to do it. It wasn't my idea. I like being behind a camera, not in front of it. But I knew, because this is some of the things, I weighed this heavily before I began doing this, trying to accomplish this mission. Because I knew there would be somebody come up with bizarreness. And it would have to be addressed. So I'm addressing it straight up. If I was one of the bad guys, would I have helped expose Michael Lee Hill? Think before you act. I'm doing my best to expose exactly the same thing Sir Dante is. I highly commend him and his channel. The work being done there is brilliant. It's the closest thing I've seen to the truth anywhere. And I mean anywhere. When I made that last video, I was using Gabriel's recent method of music as a response, because we're all on this team together. We're all on the same team. And I was simply using Gabriel's newest method for communicating as a method to communicate. Read into that what you like, but it is what it is. And the intent was pure, period. It was nothing but that. You know, when I watched that video that I made the response to, I was in tears because of what the eons and eons of reincarnation happening, forced reincarnation, and the crap everybody's been through. We've been through hell and back, all of us. And if you don't think my life hasn't been hell, you haven't been listening to this channel. I cry for all of us. And I really cry for you because I don't know where your head's at. I don't know what's going on with you. But you better get it back in this game because we need you. We need all of you. So I had not planned on doing a video today, but it's necessary because when you have key people that are important to this fight flaking out on us, that's the last thing we need right now. It really is. Yes, do not take folic acid, Miss Monica. Please don't. I left links in the description that'll explain about your genetics. And folic acid is actually going to cause you, it's going to block other nutrients from your body because you need methylfolate, not folic acid, and they're not the same thing. So, yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to ever do a video where I had to love, compassion, integrity. That's me 100%. And if you doubt that, then walk away. Get out of this fight because you're not in it to win it. I'm in this to win it. Ridding us of the virus that's been attacking us is everything. That's my mission. So anybody that thinks otherwise, get out because you're not in this to win it. If you're not up for this fight, then don't make it harder for those of us that really want to fight. And I do. I still have compassion and love for you, but I don't trust you. Not when your head's not in the right place. So I do hope you take the advice on detoxing and do that all the time as much as possible. You're not going to be any help to any of us if your head's not in the game. Anyway, I love all of you a lot. It's been a long day. I've been up since way before dawn. I'm tired. Been nursing a cold, trying not to get pneumonia because when I get a cold, I tend to get pneumonia right away. So I've been doing that. So I'm going to end for now. Just know I love you guys beyond words. And you guys, what needs to happen right now is everybody needs to stay positive, stay focused, stay as healthy as you can, and focus your energy on we win this. Because like I said, you're powerful beings. If your mind is on that intent that we win this, it's going to make it so much easier for all of us. But anyway, I'm going to end for now. I don't know if I'll do a stream tomorrow or not. Like I said, I've got between not feeling 100% myself, I'm going to do some self-care and get my own baking soda detox done and try to take care of myself. So I don't know if I'm going to do a stream or not tomorrow. That depends. But yeah. Sorry. I don't like doing videos like this. This isn't my intention, but sometimes you just have to. Anyway, sometimes you just can't reach people without them actually and get them to really listen. So have a wonderful weekend if I don't see you tomorrow, okay? And I'll be here if you guys have any questions or anything. Leave them in the comments, and there are links in the description for that detoxing and how to do it. Okay. Anyway, talk to you soon. Bye for now. And that was not a hand signal.